Welcome back, everyone. You may have just purchased your iPhone 13 and an iPhone 13 mini, possibly, and you want a quick walkthrough, a quick tutorial guide of how to use this specific iPhone. Now, luckily for you, if you've owned any other iPhone, with the notch, things like the iPhone 10, 11, 10s, it's pretty much the same process, which is really good. Now, I am splitting this up into two different groups, the 13 and the 13 Pro. There are massive differences, and I want to save that for a different video. Now, starting off with the outside, on the front you have the 6.1-inch panel or a smaller 5.4-inch panel, and they are very good panels for sure, touchscreen, all this stuff. The notch up top is now smaller, so that's the bigger differentiating factor. Flipping it over to the side, we have the volume up and volume down buttons and the ringer on-off switch on the top left. Now up top there is nothing except for an antenna band, and on the bottom we have our charging port and the speakers as well. So if we want to charge our iPhone, we're going to use that dedicated lightning port right here, as well as the speakers if we want to go ahead and blast music or whatever we want to. On the right side of the phone, we do have the 5G connector right here, and we do have the side button. Now when you first turn on your iPhone, you're going to use this button to turn it on. And on the back, we have a dual camera setup, a wide angle and an ultra wide sensor, which is beautiful. The microphone up here and the little flash LED light. We have wireless charging on this phone with the glass back, as well as MagSafe capability, which is really awesome. Now on top of this, we do also have the SIM card eject little option right here. So if we want to, we can go ahead and input that little needle and that little pin to input right here to actually take out our SIM card and input it in. You may have already done it at this point, so we're perfectly fine. Now I will go ahead and save the hassle of actually setting up the iPhone. It's a bunch of personal information, and Apple makes it really easy to follow through. So when you first boot up your iPhone, you'll have to go through that setup, and you'll essentially be brought into this specific lock screen right after. Now, this is a very easy thing. It's a touchscreen, so you can tap to actually wake the display instead of actually hitting the little button on the side. Now on the lock screen, you'll see we have the little time right here. You'll have the date and time right here. You'll have the do not disturb option if you have it set up. Any notifications will pretty much come right here, which is really good to see. And on the bottom, you do have the flashlight toggle. So you can always click on the little flashlight if you want to enable it. So you can see it's on for me right now. You can hold it down to disable it. You can also hold down the camera to essentially get into the camera mode. If you don't want to do that, you can also swipe to the side and get into the camera as well. So that's another really cool thing. On the top right, you can go and swipe down and to get into your control center. Now here you can go ahead and modify any of the connection settings that you want to. So you can turn on airplane mode right here. Your auto lock, so if you want your phone to turn while you go this way, you can enable this. Screen mirroring, do not disturb with focus mode now on your iPhone 13. Any music you'll play, you can pause, play, and restart on this little panel. Your brightness toggle is right here. So you can actually increase the brightness and decrease the brightness with this specific toggle. You can also increase the volume and decrease the volume with this specific toggle right here, which is really awesome. Now on the bottom, you have a couple of these toggles too, which we'll get into in a second. You can customize these in the control center as well. Now swiping up, you'll pretty much always do that in order to get out of the panel that you're in, even on the lock screen. So we can go ahead and swipe up and we'll come straight into the home screen. Now I'm sure most of you already know how this iPhone is kind of set up, so it's pretty much the same thing as before. So here you'll have all your applications as well as your widgets. Now widgets are new with iOS 14, but essentially if you ever want to modify any of these widgets or move them around or whatever, you're always going to hold them down. So on this application with the news application, we can hold it down and we can remove the app, we can edit the home screen, and we can get into a little bit of the information of that application. Now let's say we want to move this application around. We can go ahead and tap edit home screen, and we can go and hold down that application and move it around. We can move it to a different page if we want to. We can move it around in here, and we can do the same thing with widgets. We can go ahead and move around these widgets like this and pretty much move them around. Now if we want to add a widget, we can swipe all the way to the left, and here are all of the widgets that we have on our iPhone. So we can always add a widget to our main screen from this specific panel by holding it down and wiggling it around a little bit and dragging it over to the specific display that we want to store this widget on. So iOS 15 on the iPhone 13 is still glitchy a little bit, but by the time you're watching this, it'll probably be a little bit, up to date. And you can go ahead and add this widget, or if you want to bring it to a different display, you can always do it like this. And, that's pretty much it. And if you want to delete a widget, you can go ahead and click on the little minus button right there, remove widget, and it'll go ahead and remove that widget for us. Now, if you want to get out of this panel with all the minus buttons and stuff, like I mentioned before, swipe up and you'll pretty much, get out of that specific panel. Now you can also uninstall apps if you want to. So let's swipe over, like we can do on any of these home screen pages. We can go ahead and hold down on this specific Apple Store application or whatever it is. We want to click Remove App, and then we want to go ahead and delete the application. Now, by deleting the application, it's going to fully delete it from our specific iPhone. Now, we also have the option of hiding these apps. So let's say with iMovie, I just want to hide it. I don't want to show it on my display. In order to do this, you want to go and hold it down, click Remove App, and then Remove from Home Screen. Now, this application will be hidden. So how do you actually find this specific application? Well, it's very easy. You swipe over to the side all the way and you'll get into your app library. Now, all of your applications are housed here and they're actually categorized, which is really cool to see. Now, you can swipe up and you'll get into a whole list of all the applications that you have on your phone, including the iMovie application. So we have it right here. Now, let's say we want to bring it back to our home screen. Well, you go and hold it down right here and you go ahead and bring it over and you can drop it exactly wherever you want to. And you swipe up to get out of that specific minus button panel. Now, the gestures, I'm sure most of you already know, but they're very easy to kind of understand. So let's say we want to go into the App Store. We can go and tap in the App Store right here. And let's say we want to go back home. Well, you can see this bar at the bottom. All you have to do and all you have to remember is to drag the bar and just swipe it away if you want to go back home. Go into the camera like this, swipe it away. Go back into the mail, and you can just swipe all these applications away. Now, the cool thing is that you can actually do the same thing and you can actually maneuver through your specific applications that you have. So let's say you want to go back to the previous app you were just in. Instead of going out and then clicking on the App Store and then opening it up this way, what you can do is you can actually drag the bar to the side just like so and bring it to the other app you were just in. You can also go forward to go into the application you were just in. So that's a really cool thing. It saves a lot of time of having to go ahead and click open and all this stuff. So you can just maneuver through all the applications that you have just like this and go back forward. And it's a very awesome thing. Now again, swipe up to go home, but you can also get into your multitasking panel. Now in order to do this, what you want to do is you want to, just like how we did swiping up to go home, we want to swipe up and kind of drag it over to the side. So I'll kind of do it again, swipe it over to the side a little bit, and you'll basically be able to get into all the applications that you were just in right here. So you can go back into settings without having to swipe through at the bottom. You can also do the same thing and kind of go back to your camera. You can do the same thing, go back wherever else. Now, if you want to delete these applications, at least from the background, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but just swiping the applications out will essentially just clear it from the background and clear it from the RAM. But it really doesn't do it, but it's a good way to do it if you want to. Now that covers up the main maneuvering things with your specific iPhone. Now another big thing within the iPhone 13 landscape is obviously the settings application. So what you want to do is you want to open up your settings app, and this is without a doubt one of the most important apps you're going to maneuver through. Now let's say you can't find your settings application, you look through everywhere, you can't find it. Well, what you can always do is you can swipe down from the bottom just like this. So kind of drag your home screen down. So drag it like this, and you'll get into Spotlight Search. Now, this is a great way to kind of find all the applications that you have on your phone. So in this specific case, what we can do is we can go ahead and just start typing in settings. So just like that, I started typing in settings, and they did suggest this specific application for me. So what we can do is we can go ahead and click on settings, and it'll bring us straight into the application. Now here, I'm not going to go through every single one of these because it is kind of a lot of little tidbits into all these ones. But you can always search up top for your specific little setting if you want to tweak. So if you want to click search, you can go ahead and find whichever one you always want to look through. Now up top we have our iCloud settings. You're probably never going to change these, but it's always good to know where your iCloud settings are. Just like our control center, you can change your cellular connection and Wi-Fi connections and all this stuff here. Notifications, sounds and haptics, focus mode, and screen time. Easy thing that you can go ahead and maneuver through right there as well. Now the general setting is a very important one. So you want to click on general, and here is a lot of different things that you can actually kind of go ahead and enable. Now up top, it's about phones. You can find everything about your iPhone right here. Now swiping back will always get you, back to this specific page and tab you were just in. Now the software update panel, you want to click here and you want to see if there's an update available. Now for me, I don't have any Wi-Fi right now, but you can always go ahead and click this software update panel and see if there is an update for you. There might be, and I would recommend looking into it. Now these other ones aren't really that crazy. iPhone storage, you can always find how much storage you have left on your iPhone and kind of, plan accordingly with that. And there's obviously, VPN settings and transferring your iPhone and daytime settings, but you can kind of mess with those. Usually you don't want to mess with those too much. Here are a lot of other options here too. They're pretty self-explanatory. App Store settings, message, FaceTime, those are things I maneuver with a lot. camera, and all the way at the bottom are a bunch of other applications that you may have on your iPhone. So you can go ahead and kind of maneuver through those and see if any of these actually strike your interest, and you can pretty much go through there. Now, as always, like I mentioned, swipe up and you'll actually come back into the home screen. Now, like I mentioned, there are applications built for specific things. So with the App Store, for example, you're going to use this application to download apps on your phone and install apps and all that good stuff. The Maps application you can use to kind of maneuver through your specific city and get directions. The camera applications open up your camera, photos, and all this other good stuff. And you should have a good understanding of your iPhone right now. Some other things that you may want to know is how to screenshot on your iPhone 13. And this is a very easy process. What you want to do is you want to go and find the volume up button on your iPhone. So the volume up button is right here. And just like what we mentioned earlier, the side button right here, which is kind of like the power button, you want to go ahead and click both of those buttons at the same time. And you'll see that it'll actually take a screenshot of your specific iPhone panel and it'll come in the bottom left. So let's go ahead and take another screenshot and it'll automatically save it inside of our photo gallery, but we can also tap on that little option and we can go ahead and crop this little video or photo down and kind of maneuver through that way. We can also go ahead and draw on these specific, pages too, which is really awesome. And it's a really cool thing. I mean, screenshots are really awesome. We can go ahead and share it out, but we can also click done and click save to photos and it'll automatically save it in our photos gallery. So we can go and click on photos here and click on our little album. And you can see it automatically took that screenshot and shared it and showed us, inside of our photo gallery app, which is really cool. Now, just like I mentioned before, you can click on the share button right here and share this panel out if you want to and share these, specific photos out. And that's another really popular thing I'm sure most of you will probably end up doing. Now, another thing is screen recording. So like we mentioned earlier with the control center, we want to go ahead and, add a screen recording toggle. So what we want to do is we want to go back into our setting panel. We can swipe all the way up and we want to scroll down to control center. So control center is right here. You want to go and tap on it. And then what we want to do is you want to scroll all the way at the bottom until we see the screen recording toggle. So you can see right here, we don't have it, which means we already added it right here. So you can see there's the screen recording toggle here. You can go ahead and move it around if you want to and all this good stuff. But now once that panel is there, all you have to do is swipe down from the top right, just like I did right here, and you will see this little screen recording toggle right here. So all you have to do is go ahead and tap on that little screen recording toggle. It'll count down from 3. And then once it starts recording, you'll know it records by, that little top left, the little recording option. And you can go ahead and swipe through all the displays and screen record or whatever you want to. Whenever you're done, you can tap on that little screen recording, click stop, and it'll automatically save within your Photos application. So just like before, we can go ahead and open up the Photos app just like this, and then we can go ahead and swipe out of here, and we can go ahead and see that little screen recording that we just did. And this is another really awesome thing. It's very convenient. We can go ahead and make as many screen recordings that we want to, and it's a very easy process. And just like before, we can swipe up to come back home. Now finally, let's go ahead and go into the camera application. Now this is a newer updated camera application that we had before. Now just like before, we can swipe through the bottom, little options. I'm not going to go super in depth like crazy, but the photo toggle allows you to get, and take photos on your specific iPhone. So you can take a photo by clicking here. Portrait mode essentially is a more blurred out version of the photos, which look really good. Panoramic allows you to make a panoramic photo, which is really awesome. The video option allows you to make videos of your iPhone, which is really cool. And you can always change the resolution of these videos by on the top right there where it says HD. You can tap on it and it'll go from HD to HD at 60, which is 720p. You can go up to 4K. You can go up to all these other options too, which is really awesome. Now, another thing you can do is swipe over to get into cinematic mode. Now, this is a new feature within the iPhone 13 series, and it's a really awesome feature. So in this specific case, it really is, portrait mode video, which is really cool. So I like this a lot. If you're ever going to make videos on your iPhone 13, I wouldn't recommend using cinematic mode. I'd recommend using video mode to save the most memory, but cinematic mode is a very cool option as well, and I am a fan of it. Now you still have slow-mo video here and the time-lapse option as well, but most of the time you're going to use photo and you're going to use video. Those are the two main options that you're going to use, and as always, you're going to swipe up to come back home. So that's pretty much it. That is a basic walkthrough of the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 mini. Now, like I mentioned, the 13 Pro is a different enough phone to actually make a separate video of. So if you plan on buying that phone, I will also link that tutorial down in the description below. So you can check that video out if you want to, but that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.